the old Slate mine. It was dark down in the old Slate mine in North Wales. The soft, warm velvet folds of darkness surrounded me, clinging to me like the folds of a long black velvet evening dress, enveloping every part of me, my very being, in silence and in darkness. I tried to peer around me, strained to see the tiniest shadow, the faintest glimmer of light. There was nothing, no shadows, no light, nothing, just blackness. I held up a finger in front of my nose. At least I thought it was there, but I couldn't even see that. I felt small hands creep into mine, tighten their grip. I squeezed them reassuringly. Then our guide switched on his helmet lamp, and a beam of light pierced the blackness. Shapes started to slither out of the darkness. Then came the command to switch on our helmet lamps and hand torches, and darkness retreated even further, pressing herself into the nooks and crannies of the rocky cavern walls, and slinking away before us as we explored the endless warren of tunnels which made up the lost world of the Victorian slate miner. Shovels, empty boxes bearing the word dynamite, a long slender metal rod rejoicing in the name of a jumper, used by the miners to painstakingly bore holes in the rock face, great hooks in the ceiling of the cavern, some with chains still dangling down from them. Once there had been the sole support of the miner, wrapped securely round his waist and thigh as he painstakingly worked 20 or more feet up on the face of the cavern, boring a hole hour after hour in which to pack the dynamite. Rusting trucks stood idly on rusty, narrow-gauge railway lines which snaked down the tunnels and disappeared into the blackness beyond the range of the torches' beams. Once in the bygone times, these very trucks, laden high with heavy slate rock, would have been pushed along these very rails by young lads no older than 11 or 12, their take-home pay no more than 50 pence per week. An environment of darkness, dust and dirt, lit only by candles worn on the peak of their caps. A lunchtime break in the little rock cabin or caban built by the miners themselves, and tea heated over a tiny fire, gossip and singing practice was usually the order of the lunch break. After a day of exploring this forgotten world, the world of the Victorian slate miner, 20 weary, dirty, but excited 11-year-olds boarded the minibus and headed out for the outdoor pursuits centre where we were staying. Words cannot adequately describe the utter darkness of that place, nor could an artist paint it. Yet when one beam of light appeared, darkness shrank from it. Light overcame the darkness. But you do not have to be in the bowels of the earth to experience darkness. There are many people who experience the same kind of darkness in their own lives, the darkness of despair and self-loathing. They don't know which way to turn. Their whole life seems black, black, black. They see no light in their lives anywhere. Many turn to drugs and alcohol for temporary relief from their darkness. The other day I picked up the book Nobody's Child by John Robinson. In it he tells his life story, and I quote from the synopsis. He was taken into care at 4 months old and left in abusive foster homes for most of his childhood. At 14, he was sent to a detention centre for arson. Gravitating towards a life of crime, he moved from Borstal to the streets, to the psychiatric hospital, a scarred, tattooed, broken, and very angry young man. Then he was introduced to his best friend, J.C., and the darkness, hurt, and a lifetime's rejection went away, retreated just as the darkness in the mine retreated before the beam of the torch. So the love of J.C. dispelled the darkness of this broken life and put it back together again. Today, John works in Manchester and helps people who are in the situation he once found himself in, helping them to come out of the darkness and into the bright beam of J.C.'s torch. John says, and I quote, "My passion is, and I pray always will be, for those who feel downtrodden, hurt and rejected, They feel like scum, and they wake up each day with nothing and no one, and I know exactly what that means. JC once referred to himself as the light of the world and invited people to come to him and he would ease their burdens. All we have to do is to come out of the darkness of self and sin into the light of his love and give our life to him. The shadows will then retreat before the light which flows from him. Won't you today lay down your burdens at his feet? Switch on the light of truth mounted on your helmet of salvation as you turn, work for those lost in the darkness of the mine of human misery, torment, and self-loathing.